So today we are going to cover a topic called let's cover IAM and CLI for today. So I'm going to take IAM for today. So what is the meaning of IAM first? Okay. So let me connect to my console first. Huh? Yeah, okay guys, so I'm going to start the IAM for now. So the thing is like IAM, you have a lot more to cover on theoretical part. But again, all the theoretical part is going to be bored. Okay. So practical is going to be very good for you. So I'm going to cover both theoretical and practical. But again, theory, I'll complete everything. But it seems boring for you. For some, like if I go to this path, like if I go for these kind of concept, right? These all will be like boring for you. But again, we need to cover. So I'm going to cover each and everything for you. So first of all, what is the meaning of IAM? Identity and access management, we know. Okay. It is a web service that help to control access of AWS resource. For example, like let me explain the scenario first. If I able to give you the perfect scenario, IAM is the dead easiest concept ever. Okay. So let me open Paint for you. Imagine there is an organization. For example, I have started a company. Okay. And I have hired 3 people. Okay. How many I have hired? 3 people. So here, this is my AWS console. Like this is my AWS account, let's say. My AWS console is consisting of all the resources. Console is like one console, only one account I'm having. Currently, my client is Swiggy. Okay. Client name as Swiggy. So I want to work for a Swiggy client. So it is basically a good client. Okay. So I going to hire like few resources for it. The first resource is like he's a fresher. Let's take. Okay. He's a fresher. Second resource is almost he is having like a 3+ experience. Third resource is ultimate, like he is the architect. Okay. So let me give the names for these guys as well. So first one is, second one is like mid-level. And after that, experiencer. Or like give it as architect, DevOps architect. Okay. For example, I consist all the resources on single AWS account. He is a fresher. He just completed our course on Naresh IT and joined my company. For example, let's say. If I able to give access for the all the resource, okay, he is going to use EC2, Lambda functions, Elastic Load Balancer, AWS code pipeline. But as per his knowledge, he doesn't have any idea understand about code pipeline. Okay, but still he's tried to use code pipeline, and the code pipeline is completely terminated. It's completely gone. I have spent 7 days to build the code pipeline for my project. But suddenly he doesn't know anything about code pipeline, and he completely destructed the code pipeline. At that case, I'm going to lose my time or not. So the reason why he destructed is he has the permission for it. Okay. What if I am able to restrict that permission? Can he able to touch the code pipeline? So I can give permission for him. Again, he need permission for all. He need permission for EC2, S3, and ELB like this kind of resource. But he don't want permission for the code pipeline. Okay. So at that time, I'm going to create a user for it, user called fresher, and I'm going to allocate all the permissions except code pipeline. Okay. This is scenario one. And mid-level, he is already having some hands-on experience. Okay. He has both theoretical and practical as well as everything knowledge, but he is up to 3 years only. He doesn't know anything about like API creation or else Lambda functionality. At that time, if he is asking permission for the bottom 3, like your Lambda functionality, he doesn't know anything and he terminated all the like code that you have written. Again, it is going to cost you some time, right? So now I am going to create a user for it and give all the permissions except Lambda. This architect will know everything. He can do everything from the scratch. So he can have directly full access. Here, if you see something, console is same. Console is same. Resources are different, right? I want to give same console for each and every people, but I want to restrict the permission level for it. So the kind of resource we are going to use is called IAM here. What kind of resource we are going to use? IAM. So is the concept clear for you? Like why these are going to happen in the real time? Clear for everyone? Okay. So let me clear the drawing. Next, we can use IAM to control who is authenticated and authorized. Remember, guys, authentication is different, authorization is different. Both will different, not same. Okay. Some people will assume like that authentication and authorization both are same, but those not are both same. Those both are difficult. Authentication means who is signed in. Authorization means who has the permission. That's the only difference. Authentication means, authorization means, if you log into Putty, what will you get? Authentication or authorization? Authorization. Go to Putty. You are logging with username and all this IP address, right? So you are signing in. So to signing in, what you are getting, see here, authentication. It's not authorization. It's sign in, right? So sign in means authentication. And authorization means the person who had permissions to do all the activities. Next, when we create AWS account, we have access for all the resource. The identity is called as your root user and it is accessed by using sign in mail ID and password. So as per this one, when we create an AWS account, we have access for everything. We can access everything as per our requirement. But here we are going to restrict by the concept of using IAM by creating certain users, roles, permissions, and policies, all these things. Next, by default, if you want to log into console, username as well as mail ID, mail password is same for everyone. On real time also for every organization, the default root password as well as root mail ID is same. But once you enter into the root password and root mail ID, from there you are going to restrict the permissions. It is not recommended to do root user for daily activities. For example, fresher daily task is to go to EC2 instance and check the uptime. It's the only task that I have given to him daily. For only that particular task, do I need to give access for all the resource? We can give only EC2 resource, right? For that purpose, we can create C. For that, we can create IAM user and can securely lock our root user credentials. So in that case, fresher is not going to take our root credentials. He will take only the IAM credentials which I have given for you. By using that IAM credential, what will you have access for? Only EC2. It doesn't have anything except EC2. Next. So let's talk about limitations. Is your IAM concept completely done for you? What are the limitations for IAM? Okay. Okay. Each user 10 policies. Okay. And maximum number of users can create in? Max number of users. In a single time. Yes. So limitations comes into the action. For example, if you're going to work, if you want to create multiple users at the same time, the maximum limit is 10 at a single time. At a single time. But the total overall max limit is users are 5,000. Roles are 1,000 roles. By default, how many roles you are going to get? 7. Yes, it is like up to 750 plus by default it is. And after that, you are going to create your upcoming policies as per your requirement. Okay. So, and the maximum group limit is maximum roles are maximum user limit is, and at a time we can add IAM user of member of groups. Maximum is 10. So that means it is telling that IAM user can be a member of maximum 10 groups. If I'm an IAM user, I can be able to allocate to only 10 groups. If I want to join to 11th group, it is not possible. It is prohibited. Next, we can access maximum 2 keys only. Okay, like you know the concept, right? How to give the multiple access keys for the single user? Yes or no? Okay, what is the other way to generate? Other way to generate? No, you can first of all, like if you are having your, let me explain the scenario. You are having the user. You forgot that CSV file to download. Okay, credentials, you lost the credentials. Then how you are going to regenerate? Access management. Yes. So on the dashboard, when you go for the security credentials, security credential will be there. If you go to the security credential path, then you are going to get the second key for it, new access keys. Okay. So I will cover this concept here. There are some people who has completed all this concept. So I'm talking with them. Okay. So coming to the features, you can share your AWS account to others without giving credentials. So the best feature is you can share the permission for them, but you are not going to share your credentials. Second, you can give granular permission, means you can access based on their level. So that means granular permission means based upon their work, we are going to give the resource specification. Okay. So for example, you can give permission for the user, but restrict the read-only access. For example, like I can give the EC2 access, but I can restrict only to read-only. So that means he's not going to access to the server. He cannot access it. He just has the option of just read and write only. Okay. And you can give read-only access as well. Okay. That means you can only able to see the instance, but you are not allowed to do anything there. Next, you can support the multi-factor authentication, MFA. Okay. So that means when you try to log in, right, you can have a third-party tool. The third-party tool will generate an OTP. Once you give the OTP only, you are able to enter into it. That is what is called your multi-factor authentication. Not only for this, on real time, wherever you go, multi-factor authentication is mandatory for each and every user of the organization. Next, identity and federation. For example, if you have a account of third party, you can directly log in. How identity federation, right? So for example, the meaning of identity federation is, we have seen on the Kubernetes concept. Let me explain you one more time. Like the meaning of identity and federation means like play with K8s. Okay, go with the first one. It is asking you to log in, right? You don't have any your play with K8s account, but still you can log in with the help of GitHub and Docker. So that means you are going to integrate third party for your current working service. So that is what you call as your identity federation. So if you want to log in, but you don't have account, by using third party applications, you can log in directly. This is what you call as your identity federation. Next. So let's go for the terms. Like IAM, when you are going to work, right, you are going to have majorly two terms. One is principal and second one is going to be your request. So the meaning of principal is, principal can be a person or application. He might be whatever he wants. He might be a person or he might be the application that can make request for the application or operation. For example, if I'm a person, if I make a request to access the application, I want to use one of the application. If I make a request, then I'm going to call it as principal, like, or else I'm going to be person as well. Next, your administrator IAM user is your first principal, because he is who is going to set up everything, right? So he is your first principal. Again, principal is nothing but a user, guys. Okay, don't worry about it. Principal is nothing but a person who can make the request for accessing the application or performing the applications. Operation. You can allow users and service to assume the role. Okay, so you can give you a user or you can give a service. If you want to create a role, that role might be allowing of users and services as per your requirement. It is completely based upon your requirement again. IAM rules, IAM users, roles and federation users are, and applications are our principals. So this principal is nothing but a, remember on single term, principal is nothing but a user or application that which makes access for the operation to perform. For example, if I want to perform an operation, if I send a request, then I'm going to the principal here. Okay. If not me, EC2 instance is going to make a request to perform operation. Here EC2 instance is called as your principal. Okay. It might be your physical appearance of a person or any AWS resource of your account. So second one is your request. When principal tries to use AWS console, so that means when I try to use the AWS console, the AWS API or CLI, that principal send a request to AWS. Okay. So when you try to access the application, any of the application on your AWS console, so then here any of your AWS CLI or any of your AWS API is going to send request to your AWS console. Okay. This request include, so this is going to be include action, resource data, principal, environment data. So let's talk about each one by one. Action means what you are going to perform actually. Okay, what you are, if you want to delete, if you want to create, if you want to modify, if you want to update, all these are going to be your actions. Next, resource. That means among on which resource you are going to perform. Are you going to work on AWS, EC2? Are you going to work on S3 or Lambda or CloudFormation template? All these are going to be your and principal info. So that means like who is the user and which environment he is going to occupy. So all these are going to be your principal information. And environment data. So these include, like, for example, if you are accessing EC2 instance, so the networking rules like DNS, IP address, protocols, agents, all these are coming to the environment data for EC2. But if you go for the S3, do we have IP address for S3? DNS for S3? Agent for S3? There you are going to have objects, right? So those are called as your environment data. It depends upon resource you are going to use. Okay. Next, lastly, resource data. The data related to the resource that is being requested. So that means you are going to request a data, right? So to which resource you are going to request the data, that is called as your request data. Next, like I don't think so these all are required for you, because like it will take a lot of confusion for you to understand. Okay, again, like if you don't understand also, like we will create and we will manage a service, because if I try to explain you like this, it will be a help for you to understand. Okay, I'll make it simple and like very easy to understand. First of all, we have seen IAM, right? After that, we have seen and IAM terms. Okay, so now you are going to see this, how it is going to perform. First of all, we are going to have what? AWS resources. AWS resources are hosted on where? AWS account. So you will get your account ID. Okay. Here principal means it can be a user, or it can be like a federation user or application, whatever it can be. For example, let's take user as principal for some time. I am the user and I am trying to authentication. So that means I need to have what here? IAM credentials. Okay. If I got the IAM credentials, what are the things that I required? I am able to access the AWS console. Okay. But I am restricted here. What kind of resource that I need to work is restricted by using IAM credentials. Okay. If the IAM credentials has full administrator access, I can do whatever work I want. But the IAM credentials is only specified for only a particular rule, that is only accessing of EC2, then I will be able to work on only EC2. I am not going to S3 and I'm not going to load balancer as well. Okay, this is how the things work on your IAM principle. So let's talk about your IAM identities. So up to now we have seen limitations of groups, users, and roles, right? So let's go into deeply it. So IAM identifies, like identities are classified into how many types? First one is your, second one is your, third one is your IAM roles. So IAM user is something, as I said before, if a user wants to get only specific permission for the AWS console, then we are creating their IAM user only. Only for that user, we are going to give the permissions. Second one is your, for example, I have 10 people who is having the same permission. 10 people I'm having, all those people are having same permission. But the thing is here, if I want to manage them individually, it will going to take some time. But if I try to create a group and I'm adding all those people to that group, is it able to manage easily? So for the next time, right? If you don't create group, these 10 users are having easy to access. But again, I need to add some S3 access for 10 user. I need to go for 10 user and I need to change manually. But what if I try to create 10 users on a single group? Okay, if I give permission for that group, is that permission going to apply for all the user or not? So that is why we are going to use groups. Maximum limit for group is 300. Group 300. Okay. Maximum limit for IAM users and like roles and policies 750 plus maximum. Okay, it is a default value actually. Like we don't have any restricted for that. The default is always 750 and plus is how many number of policies you are going to create. Okay. So next. So here first of all we are going to talk about IAM user. By default, how many user can you able to create? Like here entry plus 10. Okay. And after that, IAM user can represent an actual person or application that requires AWS access to perform the. So that means like this topic I have covered, right? This point. IAM user is nothing but if a person want to work on AWS with some specific resource, then it is going to be your IAM user. For any user, you can assign the following. For example, if I create a user, so that means I am going to assigning all this. First one, I can go and assign is username and password. If I create a user, then I'm going to give specific name for him and I'm going to specific password for it. And after that, you can access access key and secret key. Okay. Access key is different. Secret key is different. We can give this both to the particular user which you are going to create. And lastly, each IAM user is associated only with one AWS account. Okay, with only one AWS account only. So next, users are defined within your account. So user don't have to pay the bill while they have using the resource. For example, like if I have my AWS account, I have make user as any one of you. If you are using T2 medium, T2 to X large instance types and a multi-cluster database instance, then you are not going to pay the bill. I am going to pay the bill because I am the one who created the user, right? So you are going to access it. But still, if you are accessing, I am going to pay the bill only because it is my parenting account. So I am going to the owner of it, right? So I need to pay the billing here. So IAM user is done. The next concept is IAM groups are collection of IAM user. For example, if you are having 10 IAM user, if you want to make them on a single place, you are going to create a IAM group there. It is the way to assign permissions or policies to multiple user at a single time. So if you want to give permission for this multiple user at a single time, you are going to use IAM group concept. If you give that permission to the group, if you are having 10 members on that group, so each 10 members are going to get the access by that group. Next, use groups to specify permission for more than one user. This is done. If you attach any policies to the group, then it will be attached to the. If you attach any policy to the group, that policy is going to attach to the users. If a new user joins for your organization, you can create a user for him and add him to the group. So that means I have 10 employees. The 10 employees are having policies and permissions. All these are on group. If a new user comes to on our organization, then again I'm going to create a new user and I'm going to add him to the existing group. So that means he will also get the same level of access for the rest of the people as well. So this is your IAM groups and IAM user. So this limitation part we have covered it. And after that, we are covering roles. It is similar to IAM. Remember guys, lot of people will going to confuse here. IAM user, IAM roles look like similar. They both perform the same operations, but the functionality is the only difference. Okay. IAM user and IAM role are going to be the same. Kind of operation you are going to say do the same. By using IAM user, whatever you are going to do, you can also do with IAM roles as well. But the thing is, functionality is the only difference, and rest of the things are going to be same. IAM role doesn't have any credentials. So this is the main point you need to remember. If you create IAM user, you are going to have credentials. But for IAM roles, we never ever going to get any credentials. Okay, it is not possible to associate with it. Next, instead of being uniquely associated with one person, a role is intended to be assumed by anyone who needs it. For example, user is given to only one person. If I want to give user, I can give to only one permission. But if I want to give the multiple persons, I can share the roles for them directly. User is only to one person, but roles are, we don't have any restriction for it. Next, if someone need to work on some specific resource, I need to work on some specific resource, only that resource on a specific time, only daily 1 hour. Okay. Then we can attach some role to him and delete it later. For example, I want to work on EC2 instance for only 1 week. That to only daily 1 hour. I need not to create any user for it. I can create directly role for him. Okay. The role will be terminated automatically after 1 week is done. So these are the things you need to remember. Main things. One is IAM user, IAM group, and IAM roles. Roles and users are difference between is functionality difference. There IAM user you are going to get credentials. For roles, no credentials. And IAM user is restricted to only one user. But for the roles, you can give to the multiple users. Is it clear for everyone? Up to now, theoretical part. So let's try to do it some lab here. So first of all, like what I am going to do is, I am going to give you the scenario. Okay. So first of all, what you are going to have here, AWS console. This is okay. So it is your AWS console. So here I am going to create a user. He is fresher. He need to have only access for only few resources. So let's name him as fresher. Okay. He need to have resource for only accessing of EC2 S3. He need to have only these access. He don't want any other resource. So let's try to create a user and check it whether he is only accessible EC2 and S3 or not. So go to the console. IAM. Go to IAM. I think there is a user called fresher for the previous class. I think so. Let me delete that one. User, yeah, fresher is there. So I'm going to delete this one. Okay. So for the fresher, I'm going to give access for only two things. One is your, second one is your. So go to add user, fresher, and type of access you are going to give. First of all, you need to give programmatic access, because if you want to work with AWS CLI or APK or SDK, definitely we need to enable access key here. So after that, password means if you try to change the master password, default you are going to get a default password. On future, if you want to change your password as per your requirement, you need to enable this functionality. Click on here. Here you are seeing two things. One is your, second one is your. By default, we'll always use auto generate first, and for the custom password, we can reset it. So I am going to give auto generate. It is saying that required password reset. If you want to reset your password, not now, on future, definitely this is going to be enabled. On real-time organization, it is going to be enabled. If you disable this one, you are not going to reset password on your future times. So enable this one. Next, permissions. Here you are having, first one is your group, second one is your, third one is your. Okay. So the first one, you know. So add user to the group means if I have a group, I can allocate the user to the group. So that means what are the permissions I am giving to the group is given to the user. Second one is copy permission from existing user. So that means I have already a user called manager one. If I want to copy the same permissions to my user, I can use this one. But I don't want to copy this one. I am attaching policies directly. So I am giving only two access. One is your EC2. EC2 read only. If you want to give read only or if you want to give full access, you can give full access. So I am going to give this one only, EC2 read only access. And after that, I am going to give S3. For S3, like I am going to give full access. Just type S3 full. For EC2, he can only read only. And for S3, next tags, give nothing here. Review, create user. So then you are going to get your CSV file. So this is where you are going to store all the credentials for the particular fresher user. So download it one. So by using this link, right, you can access to the console. So click this one and like you open another any of the browser. Paste it here and you can use Google as well, Google Chrome as well, but I'm using separate one. So what it is asking, first of all, it is going to give the 12-digit number. So this is defaultly generated. Okay, it will be defaultly generating. After that, it is asking I am user. What is our username? Fresher. And after that, it is asking which password we are going to give. So previously you generated an auto password, right? So go to downloads. On downloads, you are going to get your .csv file. Open this one and click on the like password tab here. Okay. Copy from here and go to the browser and paste it over here. Not this one. Hit enter. Wait a second. I think password is not copied correctly. Yeah, password is not copied correctly. Control C. Just paste it somewhere for verification. Yeah, it is copied now. Click on sign in. Okay. So there we have enabled the option, password reset option, right? So it is asking the password reset. So give the old password and the new password I am going to give it as. Okay, so confirm password. So click on save. So the fresher is logged into his account. So what kind of permissions he is having, guys? Only EC2 and S3. Go for EC2. Read only access he is having, right? So here is instance running. Okay. So if I try to create a new user, go to Northern Virginia actually. Like I think Northern Virginia, do you have any instance running here? No. What kind of permission he is having? But if we try to create a new instance, is it created by him? No. Let's check it. So click on create instance. Give the one. Proceed without a key pair. Just I'm trying to create. Okay. Click on launch instance. See what it is saying. What is saying to it? Launching failed. You are not authorized to perform this option. I mean this operation. So it is not created. So that means he is only having read-only access. So that means he is not able to do anything of it. But after 2 or 3 months, he is picking up things very fast. He is up to the speed. So what I have decided to work on EC2 instance. So at that time, what I'm going to do is I am going to give full access for him. So let's go to your IAM console again. Go to the user part here. So go to the fresher. So now I am going to give the EC2 full access for him. So click on here, add permission, attach policies, give EC2 full access. Click on this one, review, add policies. That's done. Okay. Yeah, you can remove. But like here, I am going to give the test case. That's the reason I have make it enabled. So you need to answer the question for me now. I have given full access for him. So let's try to create one more instance. So this time he is having permission, right? One. Proceed without key pair. What is telling again? Why it is giving? First give a read-only access, and after that we have given. So that means here how many policies we are having here? 2. So we need to remove any one of the permission. While you are giving full access, right? So that means he is able to create the instance. So can we remove the read-only access now? So let's do it with. So go to here. Here you are having this one, easy to read-only access, right? So if you want to remove the permission, there is an option called into mark. Click on this one, detach. It is completely gone now. Okay. So it is completely gone. So now what you are going to do is go here, refresh the tab one more time. You are navigating to your again new page. Give the name one. So here is it going to create the instance now? Sure. Sorry. Default it will take, right? Default తీసుకుంటుంది. Launch instance. It's creating. Security. Oh, wait a second. Wait a second. Security group, here you can give default security group as well. But the error is not that one, it is getting. Or else let me try to give the new one here. Edit. So it is Raham's SG. Let me go here one and check whether it is completely removed or not, because it will take like sometimes what happen, by giving policy, it is not going to create immediately. It will take some time to replicate. Here after removing, I have created it immediately, right? So it is not going to accept this one. So other way you can do it is like we can do on this way. Let me tell you. You are on correctly this one, right? So just log out once. It's no need, but I am telling. Okay. So log out once and like try to access from the same link. So give the same link here. So it is my default same link, right? Or if you don't want to like do this one, what you can do is go to CSV file. Are you seeing the console link here? Can also copy paste this one. For your better understanding, I'm telling it one more time. Copy pasting it. You will defaultly get your 10 or 12 digit number. After that, you need to give fresher and password. Click on sign in. Here, which password you need to give, guys? New password. If you give the old password, it is not going to take this. Click on sign in now. Sorry. Alias name. So alias name is nothing but setting your name to different name, right? For example, if my name is like Raham, I can give ls Raham is equal to R. I can use R. We can use that command on this Linux as well. Same concept is going to happen. So go to EC2 instance now. So let's do it now. Click on instance, launch instance, and here give the name as ABC. So key pair I'm not going to select, proceed without any key pair. And here this time I'm going to select the existing one. So I think I have Jenkins key. Yeah, here it is. Launch instance. It will launch now. The reason is like it is not like that if you don't give any security group, it is not going to create, because security group is different to accept. Okay. The previous error which you got, it is not authorized. So that means it is not refreshed yet. Okay. So we need to wait for minimal time and again you need to work on it. Is it clear for now? So what is the second kind of permission we have given to this user? S3. So go for S3. S3 he can have full access, right? That means he can upload the objects, edit the objects, create the buckets, anything he can perform by his requirement. We go here, create a bucket. Let's see, he is able to create or not. And here there is error. We need to use small only. Just from random name. Block all public access. Acknowledge. Is it created? So that means is the fresher having admin access of bucket? He can do whatever as per his requirement. So this is the scenario which you are going to use real time. On real time also, when you go for the new organization, same thing they are going to create for you. They are going to create a username by using your username, and they are going to specify only few resources. Because when you go for the new organization, they are not going to give the full permission for you because you are new to that. You don't know what is the flow and architect. So they are going to restrict with only some specific resource. After that, when you are up to mark and you have taken KT and you have performed well, they are going to give the full level access. Is it clear that how to give the permissions? So for the second time, I want to create one more user. Okay. So I am going to create one more user for here. This user is called as your like mid-level. So he need to get each and every permission like fresher. What are the permission that fresher is having? He need to get the same permission. Along with it, I am going to give some elastic load balancer for him. Elastic load balancer and VPC access for him. Okay. Permissions is it? What are the permission that a fresher is getting? He need to get the same permission, and after that he is getting ELB and VPC. Here ELB. Okay. So what we can do is go to here. First of all, create a new user. User is called like you mid-level. Same thing you are going to perform. Next, permissions. You can use this one, right? But what about remaining things we have attached? That we can also do on another way. Let me tell you. Once you create the user, right? After that, you can create the additional properties. So up to now, I have given only fresher access to the mid-level user. So download this file and go back to your users one more time. IAM. And can we attach policies directly now one second time? This is the other way of doing. Okay, if I do directly there, then this is not going to cover there. So go to the mid-level and can we attach the permission here? Add permissions, attach policies, ELB full access. Sorry, elastic here you need to type elastic load balancer. Elastic load balancing, okay? And after that, I'm going to give VPC. VPC full access. So I can attach directly like this. Review, add permission. So it is done now. If you observe here, has he got all the permissions now? Okay, now if I try to access from this console, see what will happen. So user, I'm going to log off from here. This is my console, right? So I am going to click here, sign out. So go to the download. Again, this is another file. This is another user file, right? So refresh it once, like click on downloads one more time. You got the new file here. You are having your link here on this file. So let's try to use this link for now. Sorry. On directly. Yeah, you can use that URL or this URL. You can use any of them. Here URL is going to be the same. Okay. So I am going to paste this URL here. So IAM 12 digit will be automatically coming. And here you need to give two things. One is your username. What is the username? Mid-level. and the password you are getting from your .csv file. So it is your password. Sorry. Paste it here. So again, you are going to get your password reset option. So old password, I'm going to paste, new password. So I am username is and password that I have given, new password. Remember this account, sign in. Are you able to log into your console? So if you go and check, you can see all the access for this user. So first of all, like I am going to go for the ELB. So type as ELB Elastic Load Balancer. Sorry. Yeah, like easy to have typed. Okay, parla, like you can use load balancer from here as well. Okay, you can have that option. Am I able to see the load balancer now? If I want to delete it, so click on here, actions, delete. I can have full access. So that means I can do whatever, right? Click on here. As it both deleted. So that means this is user having full access of Elastic Load Balancer. And again, what is another permission that I have given? Go to VPC. Like try to delete any of the resource here, like VPCs. Let me see how many VPCs I'm having. So 5 means, and maximum limitation is 5 actually. Okay. So like I'm going to delete any one of these. Go to actions, delete VPC. But remember, like when you are using any of the VPCs to another resource, it is not going to delete. So this VPC is having network interface and VPC NAT gateway as well as this instance to another region. So that means it is not going to delete. So it is the way you can access everything. But again, if you want to give the full access by using a single term, you can use administrator access. If you give administrator access to any of that user, you are going to get full access for the AWS console. That means you are going to do whatever you want. So your users is done. Okay, so next topic I'm going to cover is groups is again a small, like without covering also it is fine actually, because you are going to add users to that. But again, like I will cover it, don't worry. So it is telling that IAM doesn't have any permission for it. Why it is saying? Because we don't have permission for the mid-level user. So we need to go for the another console to do it. So here I'm going to user groups. Okay, see this one. So user group, I'm going to create a group like this. The group name is like Naresh IT. Okay, so if I try to give this manager, mid-level and fresher, and if I try to add all of this user on a single group, all these are going to get the same permissions again. Okay, so if we go to here, and it is asking if you want to attach any policies or permission for this bucket. So if I try to give admin, administrator access, select this one, and if you create a group, so that means those three users, these three users, fresher, manager one and mid-level, are going to have the full level of administrator access. Okay, so actually I am on my which user? Let's go to Lambda code pipeline, or else like go to Lambda. Am I able to see the Lambda here, Lambda functionalities? Because I don't have any, so that's the reason I'm not going to see anything. Let me create any of the resource. Go to services. No. Administrator means like, let me give some other one here. Yeah, better RDS will go. RDS like or else EBS also. EBS I haven't touched, right? EBS means you are having two things. One is your elastic block storage. Second one is your elastic beanstalk. Okay. I will tell you what is elastic beanstalk. So let me go to EC2 instance first. Have I given elastic block storage permission to any of the user till now? Any of the user I haven't given. I'm on which user? Go for the volumes and try to create any one of the volume. So create a volume. This is general purpose SSD. Like I am using maximum of 100 and it is on US East 1A and I'm going to create the volume now. If I try to create the volume, am I able to create the volume or not? But here, which user you are on? Mid-level user I have given EC2 S3 ELB VPC. But where does this EBS come from? Because we are at administrator access, right? So that means he can do whatever he wants. Okay. If we try to add another user for this group, again, all those users are having the same level of permission. Clear for you? Okay. So the next topic I am going to cover is your policies. What is the meaning of policies, guys? And roles and policies. So first of all, let me go with roles. What is the meaning of roles? Is by multiple users. So for example, like if I want to create a role, that role need to use only S3 access. Nothing you need to do, you need to access only S3 bucket. So create a role. It is asking which type of service you want to work on. I am going to work on AWS services. Okay. So the most of the use case we are going to use it on EC2 and Lambda functionality for real-time working. Okay. So it is a common use case. But here our use case is for, so go here and type S3. We got S3. Click on it. So for S3, what kind of operation you are going to perform? I am going to use batch operations or S3, any of it. Click on the next. Okay. Here it is telling that second one, create your. So if you want to work on roles, you need to have something knowledge about policies. How many types of policies you are going to have? One is your, second one is your inline policy. So that means you can create your policy on two ways. By using how many modes you can create? Two modes. One is your JSON format. Second one is your VS Code format. You can use any of those. So first of all, I am going to click on create policy. So that means it is going to another tab now. So how many operations you are having your? One is your, second one is your JSON. So I am going to visual editor because it is automatically generated and very easy to use. Click on the service. So type S3. On S3, just you want to give only read values. So click on read. So that means under read you are having multiple options. If you want to give all of these options, click read fully. Okay. That means all of the options are going to be selected. And after that, permission management. So these are all are your permission management. So if you want to give write permission, click on write. So after that, what you need to give here? What you need to do here? Resource. So which resource you are going to apply for all of these? So after that, like create a job for one more requiration and put the configuration. See here, it is telling that specify request condition. So this is going to be your optional default. If you want to make it, you can make it. Have you done this? Done. Okay. So like after that, what we need to do here? Resources. Click on resource here. Okay. So first of all, you need to click on here. Okay. If you click here, it is going to enable all for all of this. But if you want to don't enable all of this, untick here and select any of the things you want. So for that purpose, after that, it is telling that what is telling to me, specify access point resource ARN. So for which bucket you are going to apply this one? Yeah, for which bucket you are going to apply? It is going to ask the bucket name, right? You are giving the policy for the bucket. So which bucket you are going to apply it? So where we need to select that option? Yeah, I select from there and after that I need to paste where? Oh, okay, sir. Let me do this one. I will explain like easily on JSON format. Okay. So there is one more another option for you. Let me do that option as well. Go for AWS. It will be easy for you. AWS policy generator. Click here. Click on this one. This is the easiest way actually. If you do, okay. It is asking that what kind of policy you are going to select. Click on drop down. You are going to give S3 bucket policy. Effect. It is by default going to be allow. Principal, you are going to give it as star. Meaning of star means everything. So that means you are going to do everything by using this. So type of service you are going to work with. AWS. It is S3 already selected. Okay. By default, if you want to work with all the services, you are going to click on it. But I don't want to click on all the service. Like I am going to select the certain actions. So what actions you are going to select? I am going to create job, create bucket. I want only this. And like another is deleting object. I can create the bucket and I can delete the object only, but I'm not going to have the access of deleting bucket. So I'm going to like this. So check one more time. Yeah, everything is perfect. So I have selected 3 actions here, and here you need to give your ARN name. ARN means Amazon resource name. So go for any of your S3 bucket. So select the bucket name. It's simply enough. So I have created a bucket, right? So click on this bucket, and you are on the top, you are going to see your properties ARN name. Do you need to copy full or something? So I'm going to select here everything, paste it here. Okay. Click on add condition. If you want to add conditions, you can add conditions. But if you don't want to add conditions, I'm not going to click on it. Okay. So after that, what is saying that you need to give your add statement. So if you give add statement, so it is going to allow S3 bucket creation, it is going to allow. After that, job creation is going to allow, and after that, delete object, generate a policy. Is the policy you got? What after you need to do is going to copy all the policy from here, and I'm going to. Is it done now? So this is how you can generate the custom policy. Is it clear, or like are you having any difficulties in it? It is by default. If you get also, it is not going to affect you anything. Okay. Click on next. But the policy contains error prohibiting principles. Okay. I think I need to give star here something for any of this. Somewhere I need to give the star and slash. Wait a second. SID, statement ID, action. Okay. It is telling that the version is not valid. Use any of the following version. Okay. I'm going to select 2012 1017. Valid version. Why it is coming? I need to modify something here. I forgot. Like I'm not able to remember it spontaneously. Specified key value pair in the last element. 2000. Okay, here I have given 2022. Okay. I have forgot to remove this one. Like I think I have given 2012 only there. Still is getting. Let me go with the policies and check here. Here, which version they are using? Let me go with this version for once. Or else let me do this on another way. Import managed policies. Here I don't have anything for here. Official documentation we're talking. Huh? Actually, this is the same. Like whatever we generate is completely fine, but it's not working. Like here I'm getting only one error. Unsupported principal. The key name. Wait a second. Wait a second. Here I have seen this one. Here I need to give this format actually. So where it is? Yeah. So what is our bucket name? I'm going to give this bucket name for now. Let me go with this one, bucket key. Key, I haven't given anything here. Give to me. Yeah, that's the only thing that I'm doing now. So keep it here. So like I have given this name here, and after that I'm giving star. It will work now. Same error, why it is telling. Principal, resource, effect, hello, everything is looks fine. Wait a second, let me remove this here completely, this block. So under resource block, like u colon and one brace enable, and after that slash and u line 5, add an effect element. Let me go to tags. For which resource you are going to create. Okay, give slash this one. Tutorials and this. This is the one actually we need to do. Let me replace this thing with this. This policy generator, everything we have done is correctly, but it is not getting. So that means we are missing something again. So SID public read, okay. And effect is yellow, principal star, and I am going to replace the bucket name. Only this is I'm going to replace for now. So bucket name I'm going to do this like my bucket name. Actually, these are not required. When you are working with JSON or like a Visual Studio Code, right? Everything will be automatically generating, but it is not working here actually. Bucket creation, okay, effect, allow, resources, okay. Okay, let me do one thing. I'll make it completely study one more time and I'll explain it tomorrow, okay? Actually, this is the process we are going to create. But here, like I have missing only one thing. Let me do that tomorrow. Okay. So this policy is created, right? Once you create the policy, you will have policy like this. If you observe, these are the policies I have created previously. It is completely working. Everything is fine here, but for this particular bucket, it is not working. So that means something like name or something I'm missing, but it's okay. So once you create the policy like this, right? So you are going to get the policy like this. And after that, select any of the policy. Click on next and give the role name. I am going to give it as role 1. Okay. Here you can add the description for what kind of actions you are going to use this role. So after that, click on create role. So the role is created. So by using this role, you can work on your AWS console as per your requirement. But the thing is, whatever the policy we have generated is completely fine actually, but it is missing something, only one thing. If you observe here, like all the roles I have created is everything working fine and able to give me the output. But here there is something missing, like I'll troubleshoot it and I'll get back to tomorrow. Okay. So groups is done, user is done, roles is done, policy is also done. And policy, you can have the option of generating dual way. One is your managed policy, second one is your inline policy. Go for the policies. Here you can see create policy. Okay. This is one of your normal one. If you want to work with second type, that is your inline policy. First of all, you need to go for the user. If you go for the user, click on any of the user. You will see inline policy. Are you seeing this one? Add inline policy. See, again, the same thing is going to happen. Okay. So policies are going to be created on. One is your managed policy. Second one is your. Third one is you can import the policy as well. When you are creating a policy, right, you can able to access the invoked policy which you have created previously. And again, here something you need to have focus while working on real time. If you are having your credentials on your local API, but unexpectedly that credentials is missing now, you are not able to retrieve it. So if you want to generate second credentials, go for your user. So this is like my IAM. So go for the fresher, and on the security credentials, you will have an option. We go here. See, this is the actual you are using access key ID, but you don't have secret access. If you forgetting this file or this file is like not on your local system, click on create access key. You will have your one more access key here. But after that, what we are going to do is that key is on other side. Second key is on your side. You can access the console by using both keys. For example, if I'm accessing, I am okay. But if someone is accessing instead of me, I need to pay the bill, right? So I need to inactive that credentials. How we can do it is make inactive, deactivate. So that means even if the user having my credentials, he is not able to do anything here. So maximum how many credentials you can create, guys? 2 credentials. Okay. But if you make inactive and delete this one, you will be able to create one more access key as well. So give the access key ID here. Make inactive. Again, if you create make inactive, deactivate. Okay. If you click here, delete. enter this one, click on delete. So again, you have only one key. Again, if you want to generate another key, you can. So click on here, create access key, it is going to generate. So this is how exactly the thing is going to work. Okay. But again, coming to your multi-factor authentication, some of the organization will use multi-factor authentication, some organization don't. If, for example, if you take on my organization, we don't use MFA. Okay. It is not necessary for us. We will directly give the console to the user by using the IAM credential concept. So on today's concept, if you are having any doubts, so first of all, let me go with online people and I'll come back to you. So for the online guys, is it clear for you or do you have any doubts? Like I know it will be a little bit confusing, but the thing is, if you practice this 2 to 3 times, it will be very easy for you. We are okay. Okay, thanks for responding, Anjan. And what about rest of the guys? Clear for everyone. Okay, thanks guys. Like I'm getting a good response from you. Some confused, yeah, definitely once you practice, definitely you are going to get some doubts. Once you get out, right? Let's come back to me. I will solve all your queries. Okay. So okay guys, then we close the session for today. Are we good? Yeah. Okay guys, then thanks for joining today. So practice this all concepts and come to tomorrow's class. I will expect CLI tomorrow. Okay then, bye all.